I want to talk about this new album, Barbara. First, I would love a life update from everyone because I think, Brad, you got married this summer.
Got married, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. 4 months ago.
How was the wedding?
It was amazing. We got married in the Virgin Islands. It was, small, 60 people on a little island called Sandy Spit. It was beautiful, not too sunny, didn't rain. It was great. It was just nice to see both sides of the family together, and I can't say anything bad about it.
That's great.
I have a really hard time at weddings, and I loved Brad's wedding.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, you loved being in tropical paradise. And
I did love it.
Number one.
Why do I like this one better?
Why is this wedding so much better?
Why do you have a hard time at weddings, and why did you like Brad's better?
I like all of the kind of like all the, like the ceremony stuff. I feel like, and even like each step of the whole wedding process, like reception and the pre-whatever dinner and all that stuff. Like, I don't know the way other people do that, like, well, this is just what happens. So I'm surprised by every step of the wedding, and then everyone looks at me, it feels like going, how come you don't know this is what's supposed to happen? Brad's whole wedding was just like a kind of like very laid back, casual celebration of this beautiful couple.
We tried to make it easy.
Ceremony,
Thank you for
That's like
noticing.
the best compliment that you can get about hosting a wedding.
Yeah.
I know.
It was the best wedding. Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
Trevor, what about you? What's new in your world?
What's new in my world is this album.
Yeah. Like, do I have a life outside of this?
It is consumed by life, but in a great way. And I have 2 kids in college now, and then the other 2 are at the same school, so there's a lot less commuting and driving. So it's
oh my gosh, you have made it through that phase of life that is so difficult.
Yeah. Crazy.
There's nothing worse. One of my best friends is like, driving kids back and forth. They're in different sports, different schools, and she lives in the car.
Oh yeah, I'm like an Uber driver without getting paid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tim McGraw talks about that
you
a lot.
get paid in hugs.
Yeah.
Are you getting paid in hugs?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
My daughter controls the playlist too, so I learn a lot of new music. So.
That's great.
Yeah.
Matt, what about you?
Same. Just, I just moved my oldest daughter back into college for her second year. Mm-hmm. And my youngest is now driving, so there's no more commuting for me. She can, so there's a whole new level of freedom in the mornings at my house for sure.
I bet, but are you feeling like worried now that she's driving on her own?
Oh yeah, terrified.
I was just saying, like, you got all this free time now to just think about and ruminate about her driving around in this car by herself. And Jeff?
I also just sent a kid to college. My daughter is her first year, so that was kind of an exciting, terrifying experience. Yeah.
Right. Well, at least you have these guys who have done it before to kind of like
for sure.
guide
We
you
got
through
it
the process.
completely right.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet you did.
Yeah, they all sat me down there like,
what was
Jeff,
the advice that they
here's
gave
what
you? Don't do this.
Right.
Amazing. All right. Well, let's talk about the album. We will talk about who Barbara is in a second, but first talk about what Barbara is, the album, these 13 songs.
Kind of one and the same, honestly. The Barbara, if you look at the album cover, she's the visual representation of this album. You can see immediately that she has a lot of stories to tell, and there are a lot of stories on this album. So we explored a lot of different subject matter that we haven't touched on in the life of this band yet. So it was a fun way to kind of visually represent that, the silliness that's on there that we have certainly always have had, but also, she's got some wisdom to her. You definitely want to hear what she has to say.
Okay, but like, how did Barbara come to be? Because when I saw you guys at the release party, I said to Matt, I was like, I can't wait to know the story behind Barbara. He's like, there isn't one. We just thought it was hilarious.
Just funny.
So now
That
where
actually
did
is
it
the
come
story.
from?
I mean, it also, we were about to. Barbara had been around for a while. That album title name, which we did just create as a joke, and then we were about to name it "Late Great Heartbreak," and then we just decided at the 11th hour to go back to our comedic roots and just name it Barbara.
Who pitched this to the label, and how did it go?
Actually,
They
they
were
wanted
there.
it.
Really?
Yeah, I think they missed,
lucky are you.
like back in when we first started and we handed in an album called Meat and Candy, they were baffled at why we would do such a thing. And
The album cover.
yeah, and it was a new thing for them, especially in the country world, to have, first of all, the artist not be on the cover, and then this weird name like Meat and Candy, and then the next one was Happy Endings, same kind of thing. And we kind of drifted away from that a little bit, but once they kind of learned who we are as people and our personalities, and learned that actually works really well, they were like, hey guys, could we go back to that kind of side of you a little bit?
I mean, they lit up, the people from Sony lit up when we were talking about the potential for the album cover. Like, well, it could be this, woman with the boa and then the chair. And they were like, we have to do this. We have to do this. Yeah. So it really kind of
Did you have to be there in like the auditioning finding of Barbara, or like did we have a Barbara in mind?
We had, once we told them what we were looking for, they sent us a bunch of headshots, and it was over email. We were all separate. And it was so fun to watch the email responses come back, because normally there's like a lot of discussion about anything over email, anything. And this was like, we all picked the same woman. It was like boom, 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 Shalene, right down the line. It was great. She's clearly
That's
was the right
incredible.
person.
She was definitely Barbara.
She was.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no question. in
Yeah,
anyone's
we were
mind.
like, that is her.
Even like the label responded, we're like, we think so too. That's
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah.
I love this. What is the song on the album that has like the craziest story, that's been around the longest, barely made it out? Like there's always, I feel like, at least one like that.
Trying to think. Well, the one that's been around the longest is probably Man of the Song. We actually wrote that and recorded it. Well, we recorded it on the same session that we recorded Coming Home. So that song was for the collection that we put out of a lot of our hits and stuff. But we knew that song was really important to us, and so we didn't put it on there because we just felt like it would get lost. Mm-hmm. So we saved it. And lots of times, as songwriters, we just move on to the next thing pretty quickly, and we don't look back too much. But that one stuck around, and for like a year and a half, 2 years, that song was just never. There was no burn to it. We just loved it. So we knew that one was definitely going to make it on there.
There's something about it, and I know the subject matter isn't like really similar, but there's something about it that reminds me of One Man Band.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Like they're cousins, or they're related
Yeah.
somehow. They're in the same sphere, era, whatever that is. When I listen to it, it gives me the same type of feeling.
There's definitely a musical thread there. The emotional ride, whatever's built into those chords and everything.
I mean, also, based on a band.
Exactly.
A musician.
Which, speaking of One Man Band, I was there when you guys got presented the plaque that is now 9 times platinum.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's wild.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
It has been really fun to watch like everybody graduate into this class of all these new diamond certified songs. And when I saw that come out, I was like, I'm so excited that that's going to happen to you guys here in not so long, and that it's going to be that song. Like,
Yeah, it's
that's
pretty
gotta
crazy
be
to
so
think.
special.
Yeah, that song is just the gift that keeps on giving, man.
Yeah.
It's really a beautiful thing that has happened to us. You can't predict that kind of thing, and we're grateful for that song every single night.
Yeah. You guys have been out on this incredible tour. I got to see a stop of it at Windy City Smokeout, where you guys actually made my childhood SNL dreams come true when you brought out the Blues Brothers.
crazy.
Like, getting to meet Belushi backstage, I was like, what is
I'm
happening?
glad
right
you
now?
enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Okay, there was some, what
There's a
happened with that?
demographic there. I think, it was really fun for us and for some of the people in the crowd, the Chicago natives, but some of the younger audience was kind of like, who
are these
what's
guys?
happening
What's
right
with the
now?
suit?
Can you
I
play
have-
Snapback, please?
I told Trevor this last week when I saw you guys, but I was like walking through the crowd and these girls ran by and they were like, "Excuse me, ma'am," and I was like, "Oh, is there like an old
you
lady
got
who's
me.
trying to shirt?"
You got
And I
ma'am.
was like, oh my, I like stopped for a second and I know the way that I looked at them was like so evil, and they probably thought, oh, we bumped into her. I was like, ma'am, are you kidding me?
Actually,
ma'am.
speaking of like taking my kid to college, I got sirred so hard that day. Sir, excuse me, sir. And I was like, oh no.
I know
official.
it's like my college age daughter. She's a senior in college, and it's like her friends. I see them at college, older, they're about to graduate, adults, and then it's like when one of them calls me Mr. Rosa, and I'm like, oh my God, I feel like ancient.
You're like, please don't do that. Like, you're so polite, but please don't. What have been some of the other highlights from tour that you guys have really enjoyed?
We just really love seeing all the signs that people bring. There's people get super creative. So some of them they've really put some time into putting their request out there. There was a really cool one that was a beer can in the truck bed sign the other day, and it was this really elaborate drawing of a truck bed, but then they had put a can that was hanging from it, and it looked like it was rolling around in the bed, and so that's always super
God.
cool. And people have been dressing up as Barbara.
The Barbara has been wild.
Yeah.
That's
I was
been a
saying to
highlight
Matt
for
last
me.
week, I was like, it's funny to me that people don't, like, Barbara could be a villain. Like, we don't know anything about Barbara yet.
I
The
know,
album's
right?
not out. It reminded me when Thomas Rhett put out that song, Marry Me, and everyone's like, I'm going to walk down the aisle to this. And he was like, it's not even out. You can't walk down the aisle to this song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's been so fun. And didn't you guys do a Barbara lookalike contest?
That's coming up.
That's tomorrow,
That's
I think.
coming up.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you prepared to like judge all of these women who think
Can't
they're
wait.
Barbara?
Or
Yeah.
dudes, actually.
Or dudes,
The
yeah.
last show we did, a couple came up and sat on the couch dressed as Barbara, And whenever I have a break in playing, I walk up and say hi to everybody. And I went to shake the first Barbara's hand, and it was a dude hand. And I just wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to like hold the dude's hand and see Barbara. But he did a great job.
He did. He nailed it.
Oh my gosh, this is going to be so much fun. Back to the signs when you were talking about that. One of the things for me, like I have a hard time talking and reading at the same time. So how hard is that for you when you're trying to read the signs, but also?
It's actually very hard. Like when I'm playing and people are like holding up signs, it is like I'm like looking at it, but it's not like computing in my brain.
Can't quite read right now.
Yeah, and sometimes they're very clever, and so they've incorporated the song title or just lyrics into the sign. So you are kind of like reading a couple sentences and then trying to decode what song they want, which is not what you want to do when you're trying to entertain.
The worst is like when they hold up their phone and they're like 15 rows back, and the print is like kind of small.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I love the people that are holding up the phone but don't realize that the screen is turned off.
I've got something on there really important.
I always feel bad when I make eye contact with the signs. 'Cause we'll be playing, I look around and I see signs, and I feel like once I lock eyes, I have to be like, oh, that's a good one. I'm not really sure if we'll get to it, but I feel like I have to.
Right.
It's like when people call me for a quest. I'm like, that's coming right up, buddy.
Yeah.
I got you. Have you had any of the signs yet where people are like, draw my tattoo? Like, I feel like that's become a big thing.
We get that a lot. We get
what do
that
you draw?
a lot. Nothing. I typically don't do that. I'm like, hey, I'm not going to be the source of your bad decision here. You know,
which is kind of a bummer since you do have a degree in
I
illustration.
do. But yeah, I'm a
You
little
have a degree
busy.
in what?
I do have a degree in illustration. Yes.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Do you draw a lot? Like, do you
Not a
use that
lot, but sometimes when we have some off time at home, which is never.
Yeah.
You did some great work
I'll
on the
dabble.
bus.
Yeah, we did some great work on the bus. It was a collaborative collaborative illustration that's still hanging on our bus that we can't talk about on the radio.
A little riff on a Skull and Crossbones.
Yes.
Okay, got it. What were you planning on doing with that? Like, because this was obviously before like
With the
music
degree?
took off. Yeah, with the degree in illustration.
Well, I wasn't good at anything else, so I knew.
This is how I ended up
What an
talking.
honest
to
answer.
Yeah. I wasn't a big school person, and so I thought maybe I wasn't going to go to college. And then I was like, well, I'll go to community college for a year and just kind of see. And then I realized really quickly that I did not want to live at home anymore. And I was pretty good at art, and I loved art, was very passionate about it. So that seemed like a path for me to maybe have a career in some way, shape, or form, and something that I'd love to do. So I went to VCU and studied illustration, but the whole time was playing music. And by the end of it, I realized that I couldn't kind of halfway do both of them. If I wanted to be successful in something, I was going to have to dedicate all of my energy to one or the other.
Yeah.
And music won out.
That's so interesting, though. Like, how fun that you've like.
Yeah, it was really
got that
it was
talent.
really fun to study, and I'm really glad I did it.
That's awesome. We're obviously playing a bunch of your songs while you're on the show this week, but I know that all of you guys, you write a ton of music, and I wanted to ask, like, what's your favorite song that you've written that the band hasn't cut that maybe like another artist has?
It would be easy to pick one of the hits, like Sangria was a big song. But
Oh my
there's
God, you wrote Sangria?
yes,
I'd like.
I sure did.
Wow, good for you, Joe.
Thank you. But there's one that Keith Urban cut that was not a single called "Come Back to Me."
That sounds awesome.
I love that song.
Yeah, kind of in that thread too. Like he said, it's kind of easy to pick a hit. But there was a song that Luke Bryan recorded called "Goodbye Girl" of mine that I always loved that song so much and was so excited. It was the classic story of like it's gonna be the single, and then it wasn't at the last minute.
Right.
Yeah,
there's-
there's a Luke Bryan one of mine too called "Just Over" that I thought was pretty cool. That was on a record, but never was a single or anything.
Actually, I had a Luke too called "Scarecrows," which was a really cool song.
It's gonna
Well,
be
I
so
had
hard.
it. No.
It's
Actually,
so-
Randy Hauser cut a song of mine called "Whiskey Sippy" that I love.
Whiskey
it's
Sippy?
a jam. I thought it would be a single, and it wasn't. But
It's got to be
it's
so
a
hard
jam.
when you get that call, like especially in the early days of songwriting. Like this is gonna be a single, and then it doesn't.
Well, it was
happen.
funny at one point. Trevor and I both had Van Perry songs on the same album, and they were both in the running for the first single of the album. And like I'd get the call one day that it was going to be me, and then he would get the call that it was going to be him, and then finally he won out. So
Yeah,
Oh my gosh,
that was
so
a better
funny.
dig too. That was my first number one.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Good to know. We have Russell Dickerson on the show the week after you guys. I'm curious, have you spent much time with him? Do you have any Russell stories?
I've written with him a couple times. He
Uh-huh.
actually he recorded a song that him, and Ryan Hurd wrote together not too long ago. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, really silly. Right? I also
Yeah.
haven't seen Ryan Hurd in forever either. You said that name, and I'm like, oh, what's Ryan up to?
He's just kind of floating around, doing his thing.
Like
Doing
he
his
always
thing.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well-
Russell's a great guy, man. We haven't gotten to play a lot of shows with him, but whenever you cross paths, he's got such good energy. He's just
He really
he's a
does.
happy guy,
Yeah.
man. He's a really positive person.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for coming in to talk all about Barbara. I love the album. Listened to it a couple times through, and like always enjoy it. You know, I'm a
Thank
big
you.
fan of the music that you guys make. So thank you for the time today. We appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you, man.
Hey, it's Katie. Thank you for watching. See more interviews, performances, and more of your favorite artists by subscribing and downloading the free Audacy app.